Now let's begin with a little look back. A quarter century ago, an unassuming funeral director from tiny Huntington, Quebec, named Gordon McIntyre, said he got really mad when the language police ordered him to remove his funeral home sign and replace it with Salon Funéraire. Now, this was the time of rabid language purification in Quebec, and the English language was once again under attack. Now, McIntyre and two other Quebec businessmen said they had enough, and they filed a complaint to a United Nations committee. It agreed that the sign provisions of Bill 101 were indeed a violation of the International Covenant on Human Rights. Now, here is what the committee wrote. A state may choose one or more official languages, but it may not exclude outside the spheres of public life the freedom to express oneself in a language of one's choice. The UN report had no legal weight, but it did have some moral influence, and Quebec being shown to the world as a language backwater did embarrass the government. Some of the more odious provisions of the sign law were eventually changed. Now, in some way, the UN investigation played a part. Which brings us to Bill 21. The CAQ's secularism law has been blasted by constitutional experts who argue that it violates freedom of religion guarantees found in the Canadian Charter. And now the United Nations may step in again. UN legal experts in Geneva are warning that Bill 21 also threatens freedoms protected by the International Covenant of Civil and Political Rights. It adds, it would be extremely inappropriate for a government to decide what is and what is not a religious symbol. So, there you have it, Mr. Legault. You have been in power for a little over half a year, and already you have the United Nations taking notice. Now, interviewed this week in Washington, Legault said he really didn't get into politics just to adopt a law on secularism. He didn't say whether he will use the heavy hand of closure to force the legislation through next month. My guess is that Legault feels his government and his economic agenda is being sidetracked by this clumsy and illegal piece of legislation. He doesn't want history to remember him for this. Now, I'm not sure that the cheering from the ethnocentric nationalist columnists at Québécois will help this time. Legault has a decision to make, and forcing this turkey through will indeed become a legacy item. As the chorus of voices against Bill 21 continues to grow, Legault needs to find a way out and a way to save face. His heavy-handed approach to schools and school boards will not win him any fans either. The CAQ has no real interest in a vibrant public English education system in Quebec. It will grab schools and hand them over to the French sector without regard for local English needs. And if it thinks it has a fight on its hands with Bill 21, wait until Legault and company try to take away our school boards. A poll this week found that only 12% of English-speaking Quebecers support abolishing school boards, and 89% say, yes, they are important to our community. But the CAQ just is not listening.
If so far our approaches to try to have a dialogue have fallen on deaf ears, and I find that unfortunate.
Legault, it seems, has a problem with minorities. He should remember that he was elected with a minority himself. Only 37% of Quebecers voted CAQ. In other words, 63% voted against him. Now, Thomas Jefferson wrote, "All tyranny needs to gain a foothold is for people of good conscience to remain silent." Now, that's something that Gordon McIntyre knew well all those years ago. I'm Barry Wilson. You can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. And if you like what you see, please share. And don't forget our weekly poll on Facebook. We want to know what you think.